Hello 8th grade and happy Friday. Today we're going to talk about what the equation of a line means. We're going to graph equations using the y-intercept and the slope. This will be our last lesson to get us ready for our Unit 2 test on Monday. Let's start with our do now. The two triangles are similar. What is the value of t and what is the value of s? Well, first, what's the scale factor to move from ABC to RST? The scale factor is 3. Now I can use that scale factor to find t and s. What is the value of t and what is the value of s? T is 5 times 3, or 15. S is 4 times 3, or 12. Look at the next question, number 2. Are the two figures similar? Yes, they are similar. One is the result of a dilation and rotation of the other. Now let's draw the dilation of the quadrilateral with a scale factor of 1/4 and a center of dilation at K. First, what is the original length of KN? It's 12. What is the original length of KL? It's 4. What is the original length of NM? It's 8. Now, to find the length of the new sides, I can multiply them each by the scale factor. What is the length of K prime, N prime? Well, 12 times 1/4 is 3. What is the length of K prime, L prime? 4 times 1/4 is 1. What is the length of N prime, N prime? 8 times 1/4 is 2. Go ahead and draw the dilation on your paper now. Check to see that your dilation looks like mine. Each side has been reduced with a center of point K. Now let's find the slope of a line that passes through 2, 1 and 4, 2. Remember, slope is the same as change in y over change in x. Go ahead and find the slope now. The slope is 1/2. Now let's find the missing angle in a triangle. Remember, all of the angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So if one angle is 71 degrees and another is 38, what's the third angle? Go ahead and solve for the third angle now. The third angle is 71 degrees. 71 plus 38 is 109. 180 minus 109 is 71. Now let's look at number 6. What is negative 4 plus 3? Well, negative 4 is larger than 3, so the sign of our answer is going to be negative. 4 minus 3 is 1. The difference between the absolute values is 1. The answer is negative 1. We've talked a lot about the equations of lines. Today we're going to use the equations of lines to graph those lines. The slope is the steepness of a line or its rate of change. It's represented by the letter M. Slope can be found by dividing the vertical change by the horizontal change and writing the result as a fraction. We can use the formula M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The y-intercept is the y-coordinate when x equals 0, or the point where the line crosses the y-axis. It is represented by the letter B. The slope of a line can be written in slope-intercept form. The equation of a line can be written in slope-intercept form as y equals m slope times x plus b y-intercept. Today we're going to use equations in slope-intercept form to graph lines. Let's take a look. Graph the line y equals 2x plus 3. In this equation, what's the y-intercept? It's 3. We can graph that by placing a point at 0, 3. In this line, what's the slope? The slope is 2. That means that for each point, we're going to go up 2 and over 1. If I go up 2 and over 1 from 0, 3, what is my next point? My next point would be 1, 5. Now that I have 2 points, I can graph a line through those points. And I have graphed the line y equals 2x plus 3. Now let's try another. Graph the line y equals 1/2 x plus 3. What's the y-intercept of this line? It's 3. What's the slope of this line? It's 1/2. Now I can graph the first point using my y-intercept. I'm going to graph a point at 0, 3. The slope of the line is 1/2. That means I'll go up 1 and over 2. So what's the next point that I could graph? It would be at 2, 4. Because I would go up 1 and over 2. Now I can connect my line to draw my graph. Graph the line y equals 5x plus 1. In this line, what's the y-intercept? The y-intercept is 1. What's the slope of the line? The slope is 5. What's the first point I could graph using the y-intercept? The y-intercept is at 0, 1. The slope 5 means that I go up 5 and over 1. So what's the next point that I could graph? It's 1, 6. Now I can connect my 2 points to graph my line. This is the line of y equals 5x plus 1. Let's do another. Y equals 3/4 x plus 4. What's the y-intercept? The y-intercept is 4. What's the slope? The slope is 3/4. What's the first point that I could graph using my y-intercept? It's 0, 4. The slope of 3/4 means I go up 3 and over 4. So what would be my next point? It would be 4, 7. Now I can connect the dots to create my graph. Y equals x plus 2. What's the y-intercept here? It's 2. In this case, the slope is 1, because 1 times x is x. What's the first point that I could graph? It's 0, 2. Using our slope, what's the next point that I could graph? Well, If the slope is 1, I can go up 1 and over 1. So the next point is 1, 3. Now I can connect the 2 points with a straight line to make my graph. Y equals 6x. What's the y-intercept? Here, it's 0. 6x plus 0 is the same as just 6x. What's the slope? The slope is 6. Using my y-intercept, what's the first point that I could graph? It's 0, 0. Using my slope, what's the next point that I could graph if I go up 6 and over 1? It's 1, 6. Now I can connect the 2 points to make my graph. Now you try one. Find the y-intercept, find the slope, and then graph the line. When you're finished, check your answer with mine. Your graph should look like this, with a point at 0, 4 and at 3, 5. The slope is 1/3, that means I go up 1 and over 3 from my y-intercept of 4. Now try one more. Graph the line y equals 4x plus 2. Go ahead and identify the y-intercept and the slope, and then graph the line. The y-intercept is 2, and the slope is 4. So from the point 0, 2, I can go up 4 and over 1. Now go to IXL Practice Y.6.